Yo, yo, yo.
What is up? What is going on? Here we are again. It's the best
We're
of both
back,
worlds of
yo.
wrestling podcast. It's Turk.
It's Khalil. And boy, do we have a lot of news to get to, people.
Oh yeah, it's been active. It's been active the last few weeks. Let's see. I think we should start off the show with the rest in peace to Terry Funk. The legend passed away yesterday. Last night is when I first saw the tweets. I saw Mick Foley's tweet first, and knowing the history they have, I know he's hurting right now, but yeah, a legend.
Definitely. We are in a space right now. I kind of had this conversation with one of my older cousins yesterday. We losing like some of the real big guns now. Like
Yeah.
these people are like right below the tier of Flair and Hogan, essentially.
Hmm.
They are Iron Sheik is a big thing. There's another dude, I forget my man's name, from the UK that died a couple weeks ago. Um,
Oh,
Adrian Street is his
Adrian
name,
Street. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? He's legendary in Europe for sure. And then you got Terry Funk, who had been rumored had been pretty bad health the last couple of years. He has
Mhm.
given us so much uh with his body for decades. And it was his time, unfortunately, but he's had a wild, long legacy. I'll touch on
It's
that in a few. But any Terry Funk memories that you might have?
oh, listen. This, despite the numerous retirements and unretirements that he's had, the my core Terry Funk memory, and it's like a core wrestling memory in general for me for some reason, is he one of his so he the interesting thing about him is he is one of those few wrestlers who didn't spend a lot of time in WWE, but still has that one of the greatest to ever do it legacy. But one of his stints in WWE was when he was Chainsaw Charlie and teamed
That's
up with
definitely
Cactus Jack, WrestleMania
Attitude Era.
14. Hell yeah, dumpster match versus the New Age Outlaws. I think
Yes,
it's because that was my first pay per view when I was getting back into WWE, like consistently. And I remember, like, they used to do the little Saturday previews. Like, it would be like a
hmm
1 hour preview that would just loop. I think Kevin Kelly hosted it or something like that.
hmm
And they were talking about that match, and I was like, "Yo, who the hell is Chainsaw Charlie? Like, I've never seen or heard of this dude." And I was like, "Yo." And I remember briefly Terry Funk from being in ECW. I was like, "Yo, that's that Terry Funk guy." And I was like, "Whatever." I didn't think much of it at the time, but yeah, that match is the first, and then his as Terry Funk, his barbed wire match in ECW against Sabu always sticks out in my mind. Every ECW compilation DVD you see, that match is always mentioned. It's always on there. Um, Infamous because the ropes were barbed wire,
right.
not ring ropes wrapped in barbed wire, just
Just wire.
straight barbed wire. And Sabu notoriously tears like the flesh of his bicep open there and just tapes it up and continues the match with some G shit. So those two definitely my standout Terry Funk memories.
Madness. Um, so like I learned a lot about the premise of this show. Obviously, like I always say, is I was very entrenched in everything WWE growing up. So anything outside of that, I did not know, and I was too young to know that even Terry Funk had a stint in WWE even in the '80s. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I didn't know that till I got older. I got a lot of my outside of the WWF knowledge from publications like Pro Wrestling Illustrated when I was growing
Hmm.
up. So shout out Bill Apter. So like I used to Anything outside of that, I'll get knowledge from that. And so, like you, my first time I ever think I saw Terry Funk was Chainsaw Charlie, but I did not know the man name was Terry Funk. I ain't learned that
Mm,
till afterwards. The dumpster match at WrestleMania 14 is definitely one of my favorite matches. It's quirky,
yeah,
but like it for its time, people really liked it. The right people won. Um, I think it should get more shine. It's a fun match.
yeah.
Some of my earlier Terry Funk memories is I was talking about this yesterday. My mother took me to see Beyond the Mat when it came out in
Oh yeah,
3D,
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
and he's a big part of that movie outside of like Jake the Snake. And if you don't know, Beyond the Mat is a wrestling documentary, one of the first of its kind, maybe only second to Wrestling with Shadows, where
Hmm.
it takes you behind the scenes of what really goes on in the professional wrestling environment on a grand scale. And so this particular documentary follows different wrestlers from different walks, different types of career paths, and just sort of gives you an inside look at like what their lives are like, managing their personal lives and their professional life. So Terry Funk in 1999, to piggyback on what you were saying about the multiple retirements,
Yeah,
there's a scene
exactly.
in this documentary where he is retiring for the first time. He's having a retirement match somewhere
Hmm.
in Texas or something like that at a little fair, and he's gonna wrestle Bret Hart. And I think there's a dude named Dennis that was also like a professional wrestler, but he was more like enhancement talent, right?
Yeah,
And
Dennis Stamp.
so yes. Oh, you know this? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even have to
yeah,
tell you
yeah.
the story,
Dennis
right?
Stamp.
So,
Yeah.
this dude is like, yo, they was asking this dude, you gonna go to the retirement match? He's like, oh no, I'm not going.
He
And
said, I'm not
I go,
booked.
why not? Well, no, I'm not invited. I'm not going. And so it's like, what? So he's like, yeah, you never know when you're gonna have another match. And he's like hopping on this trampoline with like these 5 pound dumbbells. I just like to keep myself watch what I eat, just in case. He hadn't had a match since 1991 by his own admission. It is 1999, but
He's got he
he
don't
got
want to get ready, so he stay ready.
so Terry Funk gets wind of Dennis Stamp not wanting to go to his show, and Terry Funk got like this soft spoken voice, and he's just like, "Well, oh, come on, man, why won't you come to the show? I want you there." And he's like, "Oh, nah, man. I mean, you know how it is. I'm the old wrestler now. I know what it's like." And he's like, "Well, no, but I want you there. Oh, now, what do you wanna referee me and Brett? You want to referee?" He's and this dude Dennis is acting like this is not a big deal. He's like, "Nah, I already have plans. you know, whatever, whatever." He's like, "Well, I already asked you a few months ago if I could be involved, and you ain't saying nothing. Why aren't you coming to the show, Dennis?" "Because I'm not involved." That's what he says. He's like, that's his big outburst. "Because I'm not involved." And that shit makes me laugh every time. And Terry Funk so expertly weaves around the fact that this dude already asked him, "Can I be
Yeah.
a part of the show?" And he ain't give him an answer back then. And he's like, "Well, I want you there now, man. I want you there, man. I want to see you. Call me." And eventually the dude acquiesces and is like, "Okay, I'll be there." That's front. And you don't even want to be there.
I
This dude
always
was
wanted to
hyped.
be
He's like,
there.
"It's the main event. It gotta be in the main event." I'm like, "Bro, this is like the state fair." But to this guy, it is like the biggest deal. And so that's one of my favorite Terry Funk memories. It got nothing to really do with in the ring. It's just like, bruh,
Listen,
hilarious.
that movie. It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
I
I
got it
think
on
it used to be
DVD.
on Netflix. Oh,
I'll
you
throw it
do?
at you sometime.
Bet. But yeah, like, and it's crazy because that was almost a perfect Terry Funk voice. The way
Oh,
he
thank you.
the whole calling people egg sucking dogs, and I remember who is it? I think he was a promo against Dusty Rhodes in like the '80s, and he's just talking mad shit about Dusty Rhodes. And at the end of it, he's like, "And so is his daddy," and I'm like, "Yo, Terry Funk is a man. Terry Funk is
I
a man."
also got a
Rest
shout out. I really enjoyed his match with Ric Flair. I think it's in 1990. I don't remember the name of the show. It could be a Clash at Champions or one of them type of things.
hmm
But they had a wild match, and there's a match. I can't remember who was wrestling, man. And someone could probably tell me. I'm usually good at these things. It might have been Jerry Lawler or someone else back in like the 80s. They had like an empty arena match, and
Ooh.
he goes on, someone hits him in the eye, and he's like, "Oh my eye!" And he's like, he's a bad guy, right? He's a heel,
Mhm.
but he still could elicit like sympathy from people. It was like, damn, we hate him, but don't hurt his eye, man.
Yeah,
My eye, my eye. Like, how does he do that? It's hilarious. And I think he
he,
did something similar. He did have another. The last run I remember him on is when he came back for that second one night stand in WWE, and he teamed up with Tommy Dreamer, I think it was,
yeah, to face Edge and Foley.
and Foley, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so he took some wild bumps in that match. He got color in that match.
Oh
And
yeah, and
his
he
ear
did
was
the
stuck in a barbed wire. I'm like, bro, and this is 2007, maybe 2008, something like this is recent enough for
and
someone his age
he came
to
out
have
with
been
his
doing
whole
something like that.
eye and everything taped up later in the
So I
match.
say that again. I think he might have said it again in that match. I think
He
he went
did.
and did a callback. My
Yeah,
eye. Like I'm like, bro, this is my
he
dude, man.
definitely
That's
did.
it's too classic, man.
Yo,
So
I remember the build to that match because I distinctly remember him and Foley brawling on Raw, and him they just laying into each other to the point
yes,
like as they say, these punches were not gimmicked because Mick Foley entered with the mouse under his eye, legit. Because
the
Terry Funk just
potatoes.
boom, 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 boom. And I was like, yo, these dudes are too old to be going this hard, but I appreciate it. I
It's authentic,
appreciate it.
but they understand when they do that. The fact that you can remember that is why
See,
they do it. You feel
yeah,
me? It's like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
that they really did it. Like I think that's why I'm so into Gunther right now. That's off
Hmm.
topic, but it's like, bro, when I feel like you laying it in, I'm like, bro, I got to see your match. It's
Yeah,
gonna be what I remember. Like it's
100%.
you know, but yeah, man, big shout out to Terry Funk and his legacy.
Yeah.
He was older. Certainly not rushing anyone out of this earth. You hate to see him go.
Hmm.
Uh, so
And
I'm
he
not
is,
I'm not distraught, but it's a big blow to the wrestling world for sure. But
yeah,
he left his mark. He's like he's up there.
he's like the epitome of pro wrestling because he's been big in the territory era. He wrestled for WWE. He wrestled for ECW. He wrestled for little backyard indie shows in the middle of nowhere because this dude just loves wrestling. And he is a legend in Texas. Him and the Von Erichs,
The Double
gods of
Cross
wrestling in
Ranch
Texas. Yep,
out in Amarillo.
you
You
know it. And
know what I mean?
I believe I don't know. I do not know if his brother Dory Funk is still alive or not. I'm not
I think
sure.
he is,
I think he is, but
and I think I
condolences
want
to
to say he
him.
older, which
Yeah,
is
I think he's
funny.
older brother. Yeah,
I think he's
but
older.
Terry's put his body through a lot,
Yeah,
man. He's put his
Dory
body
Funk is
through a
82
lot.
years old. Dory Funk is behind training a lot of people, yo.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a lot of people. Like right before that OVW era, it was him, yo,
Funk
training a
you.
lot of people. I think he helped train Kurt Angle and them dudes, like a
I
lot
believe
of people.
so. I believe so. That goes to
Yeah,
show you, like wrestling's in their blood. In
they
their blood.
lifers, man. Dory Funk, 82 years old. Let me see what he said. He made a statement yesterday. My brother
Hmm.
Terry Funk was all in with life and loved pro wrestling and his fans. Terry's been blessed with two beautiful, loving, and supportive daughters. All my love to my brother Terry. That is his tweet or his
Hmm.
ex to,
Yeah. Oh
to
yeah.
Terry. You know.
It's gonna give it to
So
him.
shout out to that
Yeah.
whole family, man.
Hmm.
They've been doing it, yo. They've
A
been
pro
doing it.
wrestler is pro wrestler.
Yeah, 1000%. 1000%. Um, but moving along from the
Yes,
somber news,
indeed.
we can get into some of the dramas that people like to stir up here in these on them dirt sheets.
Oh
Uh,
man, listen,
tell us about
listen. They've been eating
Edge
the
and
last couple
AEW.
weeks.
Yeah, they on
Okay,
fire.
so honestly, I thought it would. It's happened like 2 weeks now, and then the way wrestling moves, 2 weeks is forever ago. But the whole CM Punk and all the backstage issues, people allegedly getting sent home, but that feels like old news now, so we don't got to touch on that.
Very much so, yeah.
But what is new news is this week, one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions, Cash Wheeler, was arrested. Well, I don't know if he was arrested this week, but the news came out this week that he was
Right.
arrested, because I think he was arrested like early August, like first week of August
Mhm.
was when it's for brandishing a, I don't know the exact charges, but it's allegedly a road rage incident, and he
Mhm.
flashed a handgun,
Hey man,
and then the police were called, and then he
you
was
gotta talk to
arrested.
people nice when you're in the South. I told my man's that earlier this week, man. When you down there,
Oh, they will
they all
boom you.
holding. They all
Yep, they
holding.
will boom you quick. Is
Gotta keep
is
it cool.
listen,
You know.
after not to get too off topic, after I heard like that NFL player getting murdered in a road rage incident in New Orleans, I was like, oh yeah, they kill anybody. They'll kill anybody out
Oh,
there on the side of the
oh yeah.
road. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, he not many details have come out. What we do know is that Tony Khan said in a statement that he, when the news broke for us, is when he found out. So it wasn't
That's
like he
never
had
good.
prior knowledge. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if it was a thing where Cash was afraid to say anything because he didn't want it to affect the All In match. But the match is still going. Is still scheduled to happen. He hasn't been charged. Well, he's been arrested, and I don't know if he what the charges were. But there's been no conviction or anything, no court date set yet. So he's good for All In at least, since it's just this coming weekend. But we'll see what happens after that. Um, I have a feeling that they were slated to win the match before all this happened, and I wonder if that's going to change now due to what may happen with Cash.
If I'm them, I'm gonna let them still win if that was the plan.
Hmm.
But if it turns out that Cash has to take some time off, storyline time,
Yeah.
and this dude comes out, Dash comes out without no with a extra belt, and the Young Bucks is like, oh look like you're a little lonely. And like if they want to heal it
Yeah.
up, they can heal it up, and like
Yeah.
they could probably win it like that.
Hmm.
I hope it doesn't make them feel like this it's not as valid because of that, but we'll see. I'm going into All In with a clear mind.
Yeah.
I ain't got no expectations. I got no. We just see what happens at All In.
Yeah. And they have a deep enough tag team division to where they can come up with something, especially with my boys Santana and Ortiz coming back.
They definitely got deeper with them.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that.
So yeah, so that's one to put to what could have been a potential change to All In, but there are others that they couldn't avoid, unfortunately. Let's see. We start off with Ray Phoenix and AR Fox both haven't had their visas cleared, so they unfortunately will not be making it to Wembley Stadium. So what they did was Phoenix was written out with the injury angle, and then Fox was removed from the mobile affiliates due to costing them the match. But which one you want to touch on first?
Well, now I was gonna say that I read that they took Fox out the match that they didn't think the card had enough star power, and they inserted Christian
Mm,
because he got a little bit more cachet internationally and makes it
okay.
feel like a bigger card. That's what I heard. I don't know. That's what I read. Shout Wrestling ain't them type of people. Them
Yeah,
that's why I
that
read that
makes
type of stuff.
sense, and I can't
Um,
fault them for that,
no, look,
honestly.
bro, we just off air. We just talking about Christian. Christian is killing it right now, so I ain't got
Oh
no
yeah,
beef with him,
oh yeah.
not one bit.
I think some people's qualms were you could have written him out a different way. Why take him out of the mogul affiliates when he just joined and people were excited about it? But we not the bookers, so
And he's not. He's a crazy dude, man. He did a wild splash type of thing.
listen, he
He's
does that inverted 450 where he jumps backwards and does it. That's crazy.
outside the ring.
That's crazy. And he did like a I can't even say it's a springboard because he basically did a shooting star press, but like catapulted himself off the ring post. Like he was
Off the
ringside on the
ring
apron,
post.
ran to the post, planted his foot on the ring post, and then did a shooting star press to the
He's a
outside.
maniac. He's a maniac.
It's that
That's a hard thing to perfect.
black
Billy
people we
Kidman
be
used to
super
try to
athletic.
do a top rope one. And sometimes that would be hit or miss. When he do the top rope to the outside shooting star press on people standing up,
Oh
people
man,
have perfected that now. The ricochets of the world and stuff like that, they have figured it out. But like, that's not easy to do, man. That
nah.
dude, super talented. We'll see what happens. The mogul affiliate thing is gonna be interesting because that dude, the mogul thing, I don't know, man. They just need to let that dude go solo and call it a day.
Swerve. I wouldn't mind keeping Nana with him as a manager.
Yeah, yeah, and let's let them just do them, yo.
Yeah.
Because too many iterations of this mogul thing, man. You got to be able to cement your stuff a little bit.
Hmm.
But but yeah, man. But that's part of the gig. I mean, they have way less losses AEW has going into this show than they did last time they tried to do a big show like this, and guys got hurt. So,
Yeah.
um, so it'll be all right. It'll be all
I
right.
mean, I'm wondering if, like, with the Phoenix issue, if he would have known like further in advance that he was going to be on the card. I don't know if that would have helped them have the time to get the visa stuff in order. Because
Well,
a lot of people been complaining how the bookings only been happening the last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
I think the problem with him, his own, what I read was like it is a visa type thing, but he's also trying to get some. I forgot the term. He's trying to show that he's a like a long term resident of this country, so that he
Oh,
can like
okay.
so like I mean, it's something along them lines. And part of that means you got to be here for a while,
Yeah.
and so you can't leave to show that you here. So I guess he's trying to get whatever type of paperwork for that to be able to like buy a crib here and work out
Okay.
of United
Yeah.
States. And I think that's what's holding this up. Like I think it's not so much that he didn't, not so much the notice of it all. I guess they maybe had to get some details on if he could leave based
Mhm.
on what he's working on. And I guess they figured he can't, because maybe him leaving right now would mean that he left too quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To go somewhere else. So I think that's more so what it's on. But it is a visa type of situation with him. Um, but we'll see, man. I mean, they'll everybody's gonna be flipping and flipping. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. Definitely. Stadium Stampede is still going to be a crazy match because the last one
Doing a
they
stadium
had,
stampede in Wembley Stadium is genius.
yes.
That's
And this will be
genius.
the first one in front of a live crowd. Like the first one was in an empty stadium. So that
Yeah.
dynamic is going to be crazy.
And
Crazy.
I think that went on even when it was before COVID. I thought that happened. They just happened to use the Jaguar Stadium. It was out of season, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
they couldn't fill it up with people. So yeah, that
Yeah.
shit was, and it
Oh
brings
my.
back Santana Ortiz, like we said earlier. It's good to see them back deep in the storyline with Eddie Kingston. I got
Did
a
you
soft
see
spot for
the
the New York people.
this is all off the script, but like did you see the promo he had with Renee, Eddie Kingston backstage, and she was trying to ask him,
Yeah.
get the mic on my we see you what your husband doing or whatever. I was like, yo, this is mad funny.
Yo,
And
Renee
then
getting a little
Taz is like, she's
spicy.
just doing her job.
Nah, Renee be getting spicy. She getting spicy.
That shit is hilarious. I
It's
really enjoy the interactions, man. Yeah,
yeah.
you'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna handle it at Wembley. And the crowd was like, they was going nuts.
Nah, I love that feud. I love that feud. And Renee's
Mhm.
been so good with
Oh, she's
just
great.
not just being a backstage interview. Now she's being more of a, like, I get quote unquote a character on the
It
show.
well, all these announcers have to see themselves as such, and
Hmm.
it's the wrestler's job also to make them feel like they matter too.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
the way that they treat Tony Schiavone is almost the way they used to treat Gene Okerlund.
Hmm.
Like you got to treat people like Coachman was a part of the interviews. They used to really fuck
Yeah.
with Michael Cole when he was back. Like you have to make them a part of this, or else
Hmm.
you can't even tell me half the other people that do them jobs. They do a good job with Kayla and Paul Heyman. They do a good job with that.
Yeah.
They do like there's certain people that like, all right, they got it. Renee's definitely one of the people that's like she understands her role and
Hmm.
everything she does, her facials and nothing is awkward and
Yeah, the timing, the look she gives the cameras, the timing, everything. Like she's helping advance stories
it's yes.
through those little actions, honestly.
And when you see people, the beautiful thing about it, when you really get that feeling a lot when you watch old shows. When you see someone walk into the area with the backstage announcer,
Mhm.
you don't feel like you can miss it. You be like, oh wait, what they got to say?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. You want to see
Because
the interaction.
you already know. When you saw Hogan and Gene, it's like, oh, what are they gonna? Well, you know something, Gene. It's like, oh boy,
Hmm.
you know, it's just like that.
Yeah,
It's just
or
like that.
even every time you saw The Rock with Jonathan Coachman or The
Mm-hmm.
Rock with Michael Cole before he moved to the announce table, you knew it was going to be, oh, Rock's about to do something
Some type
just
of
to punk this dude
shenanigans.
out. It's going to be something funny. What's he going to call him? How's he going to make fun of him this time? And now, yeah, Renee definitely has that energy, and I like how she's stirring the pot. You see the little sit downs she had with MJF, and then separately with Cole,
Oh,
showing
with
that footage. She's like, the streets have been talking. They
and again,
seen.
that's another great example because uh Adam Cole did what you're supposed to do. He
Hmm.
looked straight at her and it's like, yo,
Yes,
what's
yes,
wrong with me? You know, I'm like, yes, like that's what it's supposed to be. You
yes,
know,
definitely.
that's what it's supposed to be. Almost look, we might have talked. I don't know. I think we did talk about it last time. I'm not sure, but they did this. Jim Ross did this sit down interview with Kenny Omega, and then they
Oh,
jumped him.
listen,
Did
yes.
you see that?
Oh my goodness.
That was so
Listen,
funny. But again, it makes it feel like this thing matters. We're gonna disrupt a JR interview,
yo, the
and
funniest thing was just JR's like his reaction. I don't know if you saw it, but someone they edited it to make it look like an Eric Andre show skit, and it fit perfectly.
no, I haven't
Like,
seen it.
oh, listen, that beatdown was hilarious for unintentional reasons, and JR was the main reason. It was hilarious. Just the little step back, like just a slight step back and the barely reacting, but he knows he's supposed to be reacting, but it's
He had
yeah.
this look on his face like,
Like what
that
the
shit was
hell?
so funny. That
Now
shit
shout out
was
to
so
JR.
funny.
No cancer in his foot, so he's good.
Hey man, yeah, great health update on him also, man. Shout out to JR. Still kicking.
Oh
Um
yeah, man.
let's get into this edge news, yo. Before we get out of the hot tag segment here.
Son Adam Copeland. Um, so Edge had his final match against Sheamus. It was on Raw, right?
Now I was on SmackDown last
It was
Friday.
on SmackDown Friday, yeah.
Yep.
And so, as it is, whenever someone's contract is up in this wrestling business, the speculation flies. At least when there's another viable company to go to. Um, so there was a report that's basically said Edge gave his terms on what it would take for him to stay in the WWE, and WWE wouldn't meet that. So now AEW is gonna come in and swipe him up, and Edge is gonna beat All Elite soon, or whatever, whatever. And um, Edge, was it the video he put out today, or the video come out
Yeah, he put out
yesterday?
a video this morning, maybe a couple
This
hours
morning,
ago.
just refuting all that and saying, "Yo, I'm chilling," basically for the
He
most
he
part.
said he said verbatim, I have an extension from WWE in my inbox.
Oh, okay. Oh, so yeah,
And I'm
definitively
just not.
shutting it down then.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just figuring out if I even want to continue to do this. He went on to say that Friday was he called it the best night of his career. And he said it's gonna be hard to feel like he topped if he could top that. He was like,
Hmm.
people might think WrestleMania would be the type of place to go out on, but he's just like, I don't know. So he's now you and I both know he is not finished. I
Yeah,
genuinely believe he does not know what he's gonna do. But I also believe he will eventually be like, I want to go back.
yeah, yeah.
And that's just how it is. I do think he'll be on a super reduced schedule. I do think
Hmm.
it takes a lot for him to get ready. Like him and Sheamus had a great match. That shit was a lot of fun. And he did some things in that match that he doesn't usually do. He did the spear through the ropes that he did to Mick Foley. He did that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was like, bro, if this is my last
He's
one, we're
going
gonna do
all
it
out.
all.
Yeah.
And so it was good, but it was physical. It's a Sheamus match. And it takes time to recover from that. So I absolutely believe he'll be back. I don't think I think he'll come back for a couple feuds, man, and then wrap it up. I don't think it's gonna be like a 3-year deal the way he did last time. He
Nah,
might do it 1 year and
nah.
allow.
Or they might work out some like kind of hybrid Legends deal where he does a couple appearances, but most of it's like
It could be something like that.
do appearances on documentaries, interviews, and shit like that.
Remember, like COVID took away a chunk of his run.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like he came like by the next about a month or two into his run, they shut shit down, and he was for a good bit for maybe a good year. Maybe he was wrestling in empty spots. So
yeah.
that's not what he signed up for. So
For the was it
I
the
do
Battle
think he'll
Dome?
try to run it back and try to get the feel more. I don't think he's done, but I do think he's near done.
Yeah,
I don't think he's
like
done yet.
in this business, if you still got some gas in the tank and you were a big enough name, you're not done because you know there's paydays in your future. Like,
Look,
why would you
bro.
give up that money if
Shawn
you
Michaels
can?
came back. I don't care anyone say.
Mhm.
And people give him hell for that match. I thought he was the best dude in that match. I don't know what they be talking about. But anyway, he came back and he said he
Yeah,
never would. Everybody got a price, like Ted DiBiase would say.
word.
Everybody got a price.
Seriously,
You know what I
seriously.
mean? So
And I
that's just
think,
what it is.
yeah, and I don't even think honestly there was ever a chance. I know before he initially came back to WWE, they said there was a chance he might come to AEW, but I don't know if that's something on his mind. I think it's more so people just really itching to see the Edge and Christian reunion we thought we were going to see when they both were at the Rumble a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But because they both can still go.
I know
Um,
they could do it all right now.
yeah, like a run from them wouldn't be bad. Like,
Yo, they'll be better than the. It's gonna sound. I love the Hardys, man, but they'll be better than them. The Hardys look good on Dynamite yesterday,
yeah,
better than they have in
yeah,
a while.
yeah.
But them
But
dudes had trouble walking, man. Edge
yeah,
and Christian,
Christian is still
they just more normal.
like Christian is in his fifth is almost 50. I think he's 47, I believe, Christian. And he doesn't even look it like facially, let alone how he looks when he's in the ring.
Facially,
But
he hasn't aged, but he always had an older type of face, which is
yeah,
funny.
that is true.
But
That is
now
true.
it's helping them because, like, oh yeah, I've been looking at his face for 18 years, man.
Exactly. Oh, nothing's changed.
You feel me? He's
But
figured it out. And he's figured out a style that's like, yo, I don't gotta. I'm a heel. I don't even gotta do the wild stuff. I just
yeah,
gotta
and he's not
brawl.
even wrestling that often. I think this might be the most he's wrestled like back to back in a while. Um, because he had the match with Darby last Saturday, and then I believe the Saturday before that he was in the tag match. It was him and Ricky Starks versus Punk and I forgot who Darby again. Yeah. So shout out to Christian, man. And I don't think Edge is like if he does show to AW, it'll
They've
be
been making
cool.
mad fun of like what his name might be. Adam
Will he
Edge.
go back to Sexton Hardcastle?
I'll be so
Is
he can't, man. He can't.
not they gonna call him damn, what can you call him? The Edge? like
I don't even know if
like
that could work.
like
The Edge.
Christian just had to add a last name and that was it.
The Edge is here. Edge
Nah.
Copeland is here.
Nah. I want to it should be some real super TNA-esque name. Like just look for any synonyms for the word edge, like precipice or um the horizon, like anything like that.
The Zenith.
Listen, well, I like that one. I like that one.
The Zenith. The Zenith is here. Oh my
But,
God.
but I wouldn't be surprised if Tony Khan was like, "Oh, let's do Sexton Hardcastle because it's
Yeah,
only
that
real
would give,
fans, only insider fans would know." Da, da, da,
but
da.
that's not an intimidating name.
No,
That's my it's a whack name. That's my only pushback at it. It's just a whack name.
that shit is 100% Java to the stars wrestling on Jacked name.
It is cheeks.
That's a WWE metal name. That's what that is.
It's WWF Superstar Saturday morning after Dionne Warwick Psychic Friends Network
Word.
type of name. Like chain nails is gonna job out to where he's gonna make Sexton Hardcastle job to nails.
So, that's definitely the type of name. Jumping out to nails,
Yeah, like
crush.
you're gonna job out to nails on WWF
You
Superstars
might lose
in
to
a four
Sammy
minute match.
Omega.
You gonna job out to the Berserker?
Nah, I don't know about that. Nah, not the Berserker. He could job out to Savio Vega or
I,
man, maybe not even Savio Vega.
shout out Savio Vega, man.
Los Boricuas.
All them people that made me see a little bit of melanin on the program, and shout out to them when I was
Word.
coming up. You know, I don't know. I hope he thinks he's black. You know, a lot of them folks don't like to think they black. I hope he feels he's black because he's black.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, bullshit. And he's
yeah.
black.
But I don't know how,
um,
in Puerto Rico it's shaky
ain't no,
sometimes,
ain't no
man.
black. Ain't no black.
Like praying.
Yeah,
Puerto
get out of here.
Rican.
Get
But
out of here. We'll move on now to this week's graps and the slam of the week. Uh,
yes, yes, yes.
I
Always
did.
presented to you by JVC Kaboom Box. And we got a new sponsor, IO Digital Cable.
I in speaking to you earlier, I remembered I did like the Darby Allin and Christian match, but my pick
Mm-hmm.
for my slam of the week is Gunther versus Chad Gable from Raw,
Mm-hmm.
which ended in a count out, which was clever to just say that Gunther took an L, but he doesn't lose the belt.
Yeah.
That's very old school. But the actual match, I mean, I've been wanting Chad Gable to get this type of look for whenever they put him solo. You
Yeah.
know, whenever they gave him Shorty G, I'd much rather them have this move right
Oh
here.
man. The Shorty G. Oh man.
But
Travesty.
the Alpha Academy has helped him grow into really a spitting image of Kurt Angle, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And man, them dudes had a great match on Raw, and punctuated by Gunther going for a chop where Chad Gable was at the ring post. Chad Gable ducks.
Inducted,
Gunther
yeah.
slaps the ring post and then backs up, and Chad Gable German suplexes him by the damn ring bell, ringside, and then runs back in the ring for the 10. I said, bro, this is mad fun.
That's good. That's good
It
booking
was
right
just a
there.
fun
Like
match.
that's the way if you have to have Gunther quote unquote take an L, that's the best way to do it. And against a great wrestler like Chad Gable, like
That's the whole legitimacy of it. The dude can
mm,
go.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Oh man, I wish. Too bad, like the wrestling gods weren't smiling down on Jordan. Oh my goodness, I just forgot his name. His
I know.
partner in American Alpha,
Yeah, I remember. Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan. Yeah,
Yeah,
that team had so much. They could have been so good if he could have stayed healthy, man. Oh,
that was Steiner's 2.0 to me, man.
mm-hmm,
It's unfortunate.
mm-hmm. Like I
Unfortunate.
could imagine it would have been them and the Usos having a legendary rivalry in the WWE like the last few years, but damn.
Wasn't worth it to
But
do to keep going, man. I guess
yeah,
it wasn't
but
in the cards.
I think Jason Jordan still works for WWE. I think he has a backstage role there,
Yeah, he's like
a
one of the
coach or
producers, I
agent.
believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and he's Kurt Angle's son. Kurt
Let's
Angle's
never
black son.
lest we ever forget. You
The
know.
alternate universe, if Kurt Angle actually got with Charmel,
Oh
Queen
Lord.
Charmel.
Son, don't even bring that was some dark promos, boy. What did they give that dude to say? This dude said, I like bestiality sex, is what they had that man saying.
Yo,
What? On UPN 9? What in the fuck?
that that oh man, I think that was like that, and that wasn't even Perk Angle.
No,
Perk
no,
Angle didn't happen until afterwards.
that's just Vince, man. Vince and his weird thinking.
Oh man.
What kind of
Some
weird stuff is that, boy?
bestiality sex, dude.
Who even
Ah, man.
what kind of a phrase is that anyway?
Yeah. But
Um, but shout out Gunther and Chad Gable, man.
yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah.
them blessing us this week.
My slam of the week was so I didn't even think to mention Darby and Christian for some reason because I was my original match was gonna be on that same episode of Collision. Or was it? No. It was Rampage. On Rampage, Commander and Ray Phoenix had a match. And it was like straight up 20 minutes, amazing lucha libre
Mm.
style match, and it was just I loved it. That was gonna be my match of the week, but I think I might switch it to Christian and Darby, only because Christian is just his heel work is like the best of his career, like top notch. Talking about and it's recency bias because his promo this past week on Dynamite was amazing as usual. The whole I heard you got a dad,
Oh yeah, that's
and I heard he's dead. The Christian
but
is like,
the beauty of piquing the crowd's interest. So he didn't just say,
mhm,
"Oh, I heard your dad's dead too." No, he
yeah,
said, "Heard you got a dad," which is a callback, and everyone's like,
yeah.
"Oh God,
Here we go. He
was it?"
about to violate.
I'm looking at this shit like I don't even know nothing about this dude dad. What you about to tell me, man? Don't tell me this daddy dead too. And then he's dead. I'm like, oh, like yo, he
and
had me.
it's
That's the
and it's
beauty of it all.
leading
Because he could
in.
have just been like, I heard your dad is dead too. That's not effective. My man
Nah.
said, I heard you have a dad. Oh, everyone has a dad, Christian. You know what I mean? Like, heard you have a dad.
And,
Oh, the crowd is like, oh boy, shut the fuck up. And
and I
he's
heard he's
dead too.
dead.
I was like, oh Lord.
And it's
This
like
is heat.
he it's like it's about to be his bat signal now. Like the whole father thing, like from the way he got his daughter kicked out the building on Collision a couple
Bruh.
weeks ago. Want to be everybody's father figure with Jack Perry and now with Nick Wayne. It's
If he's smart, he'll do a little uh like DC Universe Marvel type of shit and just kind of wink at Dominic Mysterio over there. You know,
oh
seems like
this is
there's a whole wrestling industry full of deadbeat dads. Some even wear masks, you know, like some shit like that. Oh my
no, I would love
god.
that. I would love
Oh
that.
my god. That would be so
Hmm.
much fun. I know he's gonna do it, yo. He has to do something like that
Hell
one day
yeah.
to make people. It's gonna go viral. It will go viral.
100%. And he got to wear the sleeveless turtleneck to do it.
The sleeveless turtleneck is such a cockhead move. What is this?
So like
Sleeveless turtleneck?
he was on, I think it was Swerve's podcast. Swerve has a really good podcast, by the way.
Okay.
Um, he had a sit down interview with Christian, and I think Christian said like the reason he picked the sleeveless turtleneck was because it was the douchiest thing he's ever seen someone wear. So he was like, "I'm heel, I gotta wear it. Like I gotta wear it, and it works because it
I
looks."
thought he created it. I didn't know that was actually a thing.
He might have created it,
Oh
but I
my.
know the decision behind him wearing it was he knew wearing that was just gonna up the ante on his douchey heel douchebag dickheadedness. So
He did it, damn it.
yeah,
Wow.
he did. And
Wow.
dude is in a
Also, in that match with Darby, I just want to point out really
mm,
cool ass spot I enjoyed was Christian on outside the ring on a steel chair and Darby doing like a drop kick from the top rope to outside and then Christian just falling back on the chair. I just thought that was funny.
so it's
It was a really good
listen,
match, man.
and Darby just throws his body at people like just throws. It's like
He took another coffin drop onto the side of the ring that match. That dude, but he kind of fell to his side a little bit. I'm like, all right, cool. He's protecting himself a little bit. But yeah, that shit
yeah,
gonna catch up, bro.
yeah.
All
Now he
I
gonna
look at
have
all
a
them dudes. I be
fucking
feel like Jim Ross.
he'll have a
It's
metal
gonna
rod in
catch
his
up.
back soon. The way he's
Mm-mm.
looking around, but he's been wrestling basically every week, twice a week. He's on Dynamite Collision, Collision, Dynamite, Dynamite Collision. He might pop up on Rampage. It's like, bro, I mean, he's here for a good time, not a long time.
Oh, that's it's clear. It's
Yeah,
clearly the case.
but I'll give
Shout
them the
outs,
slam of the week.
shouts to all of them that put their body online for our entertainment, man. It's not lost on us, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, but going on from that, we got a big, huge pay per view weekend. Uh,
Hmm.
all in at Wembley Stadium. Last big wrestling show I can remember being there was SummerSlam 1992, which was a spectacle.
Yeah.
But we got something happening here with a new upstart number two company in this country, and people are excited. The people over there are excited. Uh, I don't know if we got to necessarily go through a match by match. Uh,
No, because it's a lot. It's a
but what do you feel? What's your general feelings about the show? And what are you expecting out of MJF and Adam Cole?
So I'm excited. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see the show. Like,
I'm on the fence. I need to see how much I think on cost.
yeah,
I
I
don't
think I
even know
gotta
where you
work.
get pay per view at. I mean, I guess I could get it from the cable company, but I'm like, is it?
Yeah, I think you got. I think they have a website
I
or an
can't
app or
stream that
something
shit.
like
I don't
that,
think I can stream it
or
on my
streaming thing.
PS5, man.
But it
Cable
might
company.
be. I know it's on Fight TV in the UK, but I don't know
Yo,
how.
people in the UK and a couple other countries that's not the United States can watch it. It's seemingly for free on YouTube for them. They dropped that information
Yeah.
today. Lucky
Oh,
devils.
oh, listen. I need to get a VPN. Shit.
Feel me?
Um, but it's gonna be 5 hours, including the pre-show. So the pre-show's an hour, and Tony Khan straight said, "Yeah, it's gonna be a 4 hour pay-per-view." But so that's a lot. But the fact that it's a one, so the in New York time, the pre-show's at 12 p.m. and then it shows at 1 p.m. So I can do a 4 or 5 hour show in the middle of the afternoon like that, no problem.
You can multitask.
Yeah, like it's not
Have it
like,
on and do other
oh,
things.
yeah, it's not like I'm gonna be up till 2 a.m. and I've done a bunch of stuff all day, and so now I gotta find the energy to stay up and watch this. But I think that's one thing I do like. But yeah, it's just seeing the atmosphere, what it's gonna be like.
I hope
That
they
shit
do at
should
least
be
a set
incredible.
reveal like they've been doing for WrestleMania the last few years. I hope they do a set reveal.
Yeah,
Let's see what it's gonna
it's
look
weird
like.
because they don't. Whenever they change the set, they don't usually go too crazy with the change setups. But I could see. I want them to bring back the LED ramp.
I think you'll see that.
Yeah,
I think
I
you'll see
think
that.
I'm like
Um,
80% sure we'll see that.
yeah, and I think it's gonna
Depending
be
on the
like almost a
logistics of the
condensed
stadium.
set. You know, like WWE been doing that at their stadiums recently. When they have a stadium, they want to pack in mad people. If it's not
Yeah.
WrestleMania, they'll just do a little LED wall, and then you just kind
Hmm.
of come out. I think they're gonna do something along them lines. I do think they're gonna have a stage, but I don't think they're gonna
Yeah.
have the. I don't think they're gonna have the ramp all the way to the ring, but it might come down a little bit. That's what I think. But we'll see.
Yeah. Because
What
then
do I think?
you have to also figure into the fact that they have the Stadium Stampede match. So how's the setup for that going to work? Because that match is not going to be taking place in the ring. You have to find an area of the stadium where you could set it up where it's like it can't be too confined either. It has to look like and feel like they have free range of the whole stadium to use. But I think the crowd is going to be
Gonna be in
electric.
the crowd, and there's gonna be mad beer being spilled. It's gonna be pretty cool, man.
Oh hell yeah! And those UK crowds, like when they get wrestling like American wrestling so few and far in between. They're always rabid when there's a show. So I'm not worried about crowd noise or anything like that. Um, I think the well, when it comes to MJF and Cole, I don't know. They did a lot of good character work this week with their sit down interviews with Renee, and everything is looking like and leaning towards Adam Cole being the one to turn heel. With the storm out during the interview, the whole my new low key favorite part of this feud, the heartbroken Roderick Strong and
Yo,
his almost
he
deadpan delivery of passionate dialogue.
dropped an Easter egg, yo, and I caught it. And I've been watching wrestling long enough that I finally caught it. This dude was like, at the end of All In, we're gonna see who the real MJF is and who
And
the
who the
real Adam
real
Cole
Adam
is.
Cole? See
I
that's
said,
what cemented it for me.
and I was like, okay, something is gonna happen.
Yeah, something's
You
about to
know,
pop off.
you know what's funny, yo? What about this? And it just came to my what if uh MJF actually does turn and Roderick Strong becomes his dude? And it's like he been meddling this shit the whole time. It's like, nah, you don't. And it's like, boom, now Roderick Strong actually his man's, and like we just wanted to butter him up. That's possible. They've done a good job of making you think
Yeah,
we don't. Where is this going? We don't know
yeah.
what we're doing.
And
Um,
it would make sense logically from this standpoint. Like it could be a whole, oh, you think I forgot how you turned on us in NXT? And
hey,
I originally thought that's what they were gonna do with Kyle O'Reilly before he got injured. But
And that could spin off into another feud. That might be the move
yeah,
because that dude Roderick Strong needs something to do, right?
yeah, yeah.
Ugh.
And
And
it's
then
just
that will
I don't
free
know
MJF up for Punk or whatever.
exactly, exactly. And that's the other thing about it. I don't know. Besides the turn, there are people who think there might be a title change, but I'm like, I don't know because like the
MJF, I think I said it on it, bro. MJF is turning, bro. He's
yeah,
turning.
but like the baked in story is the unification match between Punk and MJF. It's the third
Hmm.
match. It'll be the third match in the trilogy, and it'll be for the unification of the world title. So that seems like the most obvious route to go. But and I don't see Samoa Joe beating Punk at All In.
No,
Um,
but
but
it's a fun way to get everybody to where they're trying to get to.
yeah, yeah, and I wonder if sometimes when you have a big show like this, do you want to take a chance and do like take a crazy booking chance, take a swing at something, or do you want to send the fans home as satisfied and happy as you can?
Nah, you want to send them home engaged. That's all.
Yeah.
I want to go home thinking, oh damn, now I got to see what happens on
Hmm.
Dynamite.
Hmm.
What the hell? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such an MJF thing to lead you on and then pull the rug from under you.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's
and
the other thing.
but it's
It
not
could be
apparent. I don't think it's so obvious that that's gonna happen. I'm just thinking about it now. I'm like, you know what? That might be a really great swerve that makes sense.
yeah. It's like I've
Where
done it before. Why
Adam
wouldn't I
Cole
do it
could just be
now?
like, look, I had some moments where I did think about super kicking him. I'm a competitor or whatever. Like, but you know what I
Hmm.
mean? If you want to justify the stuff Renee was showing him, you know what I mean? And that makes Roderick Strong be able to lean into something different than what he's been. He could be a straight up heel and just lean into just being like a chicken shit heel.
Yeah.
I think that's where they're going, man. I think that's where they're going. And it'll make MJF have a lot of heat going into his match with Punk, and they can go
Hmm.
back and forth and jab, and I think that's what's happening.
It's crazy because
I
like the pay per view being a week later is just like they have to
well,
do a lot of heavy lifting story wise as far as Punk and MJF.
I don't think they'll unify at All Out.
Oh, you think they wait till later?
Yeah, yeah. I think they might Adam Cole and MJF might have a blow off, or they
Hmm.
might have they'll figure something else out to
Yeah.
further that and end it.
Hmm.
But I let MJF and Punk build.
Yeah.
Let that build. You know what I mean?
And
That's how
it's
I look
it's
at it.
it's funny because they only had two matches for All Out announced. It's Miro versus Will Hobbs and then Darby versus
Hey, let me shout out
Luchasaurus.
Will Hobbs one time, man. He had a great promo on Collision,
Hmm.
and he gonna go far, man. He's getting some time. He's gonna go
Oh
far,
yeah.
and I'm
He's been ever since he first debuted. I was like, and it's like this inherent bias in me. I'm like, oh, he black guy. Hey, let me see what he's all about. So I'm gonna pay extra attention to him. And then paying
he's
the
not.
extra
But he's
attention
good.
to him, I'm seeing that he's good. And
Yeah,
like as he was getting more reps on him, he was getting noticeably better. And he started taking care of his body more and like really, really leaning in. And now we got
now the mic, not like that shit. It was believable. Like he's already an
mhm,
imposing figure, and now it's like
yeah,
and he's not. He's like I'm taking down like the biggest dude. Like he want to fuck with Miro. It's like oh,
yeah.
okay,
And then
that's gonna be good.
I'm always gonna mark out for his Harlem Heat inspired ring gear. Like I'm
Yeah,
always gonna
that is
love
not
that
lost
shit.
on me either.
Yeah.
Extremely reminiscent.
But you know
That's
what's
who they needed when
interesting?
they brought in that third member instead of friggin'
Hmm.
Ahmed Johnson overweight. It should have been Will Hobbs back
I know,
then.
right? You got a time
But it's all
machine.
good.
You know what the
It's all
interesting
good.
thing is? So
What's that?
apparently, like during Miro's sabbatical, um, allegedly they were like trying to pitch ideas to him for him to come back, and he was shutting them all down. And one of them was a feud with Hobbs that he would ultimately lose, that Miro would ultimately lose. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if, since they're running that program now, is it a thing where Like Miro's cool because he's gonna go over. Because I'm like, does Miro need like? I feel like they both need the win,
Yeah.
so
Well,
it's
look,
tricky.
put it this way: it doesn't need to be a one match feud.
That's true, and it doesn't have to be a clear win or loss match either. It can end in a no contest or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, they
yeah.
got their
That's
routes.
and throughout the feud, people can figure out who is the face and who is the heel.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because right now they both sort of tweeners,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're both out to dominate. They have the same mission essentially. You know what I mean? So at some point somebody's gonna be like, you know what? I'm tired of playing by the rules, and it's gonna be clear. It probably be
yeah.
clear by the time they have like their last match together. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah,
that's just my thought at least. Um, for me, I like the spectacle of things. I'm very
hmm,
happy that Wembley's getting a show, and I'm looking forward to seeing what is it they come up with. Uh, I'm a I've said this before on the show. I'm a broken record. I like CM Punk. Want to see him do well.
hmm.
I think him and Joe will have a good match. I think it's cool that they're having this match and they're taking their rivalry to a stage like Wembley on
Yeah,
a grand scale like AEW.
yeah.
Um, I look at that like so many other people look at bringing certain things to certain platforms, and so they're just allowing more people to know what their history is. I know people over there in the UK are very adept
Hmm.
with indie wrestling, so that's definitely for them to eat up. That's definitely a
Yeah,
gift.
yeah. 100.
Um,
Percent
I I'm I just if I watch the show, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's character work.
Yeah.
Um, I want to see MJF retain. But Adam Cole has been, look like he's been in the gym. He look like he's getting cut. So shout out to him.
Yeah.
And
Nah, he's doing his thing.
I'm looking forward to seeing how all that whole rivalry pans out. Um, I wish AEW well this weekend, so people have a blast.
Hmm.
Uh, and yeah, that's just my thoughts. I have good feelings going into it. I don't know if I'm gonna actually order it, but like you said, it's an early show, and so because of that,
Yeah,
maybe I
yeah.
get paid tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe I'll feel a little, a little frisky, a little
So,
froggy.
yeah, word.
You
And
know what I mean?
it should be regardless. I think it's gonna be one thing that happens that everyone's gonna be talking about. Whether it's gonna be in a negative way or positive way, I don't know. But because AEW can be really polarizing to some people. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting a really good show. I'm expecting everyone to like give their best effort. Like I
Yeah.
feel like they grasp or they all understand the gravity of like a situation like this because this
Mm-hmm.
is forget about like yes, it's the biggest crowd in wrestling history, but this is a company
It's
who
the
hasn't.
biggest crowd in the Western Hemisphere. No one wants to talk about North Korea WCW. Nobody wants to
Oh,
talk about
Collision
how
in
they had
Korea.
100,000 people in no one talking about that happened.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
that
There's
did
a whole
happen.
dark side of the ring. It
Yeah,
happened.
this is the redheaded
But it's the biggest
stepchild.
one in North American history, without a doubt.
Yeah, and the other thing is like this is a company that's not been around 5 years doing this. Like that's unprecedented. Like I think TNA's biggest crowd, I don't even think was over 20,000 people. And TNA's been around for a long time, and at one point was considered the number two
Hey,
company.
listen, that is about backing. That is about,
Yeah,
it's really about backing.
yeah, yeah.
Your
No,
network
like
partners and your actual owners, because they had to. Everyone that's in AEW was in TNA. Everybody that was in
mhm.
WWE was in TNA. So
Yeah,
it's not the talent.
no,
That
it's
is
not.
about. That's the front office. That's the business side of
Yeah,
things,
and
right?
as we can
Like,
see, they did not handle business well, infamously.
there's things that they do well that people tout, and I shout outs to them. But
Yeah,
I just and then, and that's not to take nothing away from what AEW has done. They took advantage of what they've done. They have earned what they're experiencing right now. I hope
mhm.
everybody gets out of that whole show safe. healthy,
Yeah.
can go on with do their
Yeah.
thing. It's a testament to the work they put in over this time. But it's also a testament to like, look, man, start visiting these countries overseas more often, man. They want you.
Hmm.
So just take note of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think this will definitely be the catalyst for AEW to attempt more overseas shows. Um, like I guess the market will mostly be places in Europe and Asia, Eastern Asia. I don't see them doing. They're not going to do any Saudi shows. Like that's a given. WWE has that on lock. Like that's a given. That's not happening.
they got a whole
Um,
contract. Yeah.
is they can do Puerto Rico but the crazy thing is like wrestling is a different animal in Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's crazy, and I could definitely see them pulling off a show, but I don't know if because WWE just had a show in Puerto Rico and it went off without a hitch, but like they be stabbing people, man. They take their wrestling seriously down there.
That's funny,
It
yo.
was and like I keep harkening back to Don Callis just getting attacked in Mexico a couple weeks ago
Did
by
he
a
really?
fan who thought it was real. Yeah, it was a backstage. It was for AAA. It was a backstage segment with him and someone else were attacking Kenny Omega because Kenny Omega wrestled on that show, and
Mm-hmm.
there's some dude who it was still real to him. Damn it, ran up and tackled Don Callis and tried to choke him out.
This happened on TV?
No, this happened. It
Oh,
was a backstage segment that was being filmed. It
okay.
was on,
Get
and then yeah, it happened. But it was
man,
for a
listen,
pay per
man.
view. Yeah,
Listen, man. They're doing too much. It's still real to me.
son, they love it, son. They love it.
Oh man. Okay, yo.
But yeah, all this should be a great show. It's a great big time in AEW's young history. And we'll see how this affects next weekend, which will be all out and AEW going forward. And yeah, man, out to shout out to the UK, man. Y'all earned that. Y'all earned that. Y'all been neglected
Indeed,
for so
man.
long.
Yeah, man. Have a good time this weekend, wrestling fans. I keep my ears to these streets.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But
But
I think
I
that
think
that
that's
just
it.
about does it, yo.
Yeah.
Um, again, yo, big time rest in peace to Terry Funk, man.
Yeah, man. It's like you said earlier, we are getting around that time where these people, it's you never expected, but it low key should be expected that
These are the big guns, yo.
yeah, the time's gonna be up soon. They're gonna be off this earthly plane.
Indeed.
So
Indeed.
give them the flowers while you can. Um, Wrestling is one of those businesses where, as long as they're not problematic, they will always.
Be
And
remembered.
well, we'll eliminate as long as you're not problematic and as long as you're a draw. There is that bias, but they will always show love to the legends of yesteryear.
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah.
And should. The same way
Hmm.
we revere other entertainers, they
Yeah.
deserve the same. So without a
Yes.
doubt. Without
Especially
a
putting
doubt.
their bodies on line like that. Health, mental health, physical health,
Hmm.
not seeing their families for a while. Like it's a crazy business. And these dudes who are passing were like living during the wildest times, like as far as outside of the ring goes, where
Hell yeah.
everyone's doing coke
Hey,
and partying
Dark Side
every
of the Ring
night.
is about them.
Yes,
Filipino
exactly,
Dark Side of the Ring
exactly.
about the New Day. Dark Side of the Ring is about them.
It'll be damn. You brought up the new day just broke my heart, man.
Why is that?
Cause the whole Big E doctors are advising him to not wrestle again.
Was that legit?
I don't know if he's himself is not going to wrestle again, but I know I heard that he's been advised
I mean, we've
to
heard
not
that
wrestle
before.
again. Yeah,
We've heard that
true, but
before.
yeah, hopefully. hopefully he has
He looks very normal and Big E-ish.
he does.
I
And I
hope he
would
does whatever it is that he wants to do.
yeah, and I
I
would
think if
just
anything, just don't take
mm,
no overhead German suplexes.
yeah,
Don't take no German suplexes at all,
yeah.
and call it a day.
Yeah, he's a good dude, and I would like to see him like end his career on his own terms. Like you never want to see people forced out
Mm-hmm.
by injury or anything otherwise. So yeah, shout out to Biggie.
Big time shout out to Big E, man.
Yeah,
Without a
man,
doubt.
that's it. That's it. That's all we have for you this week. Next week maybe we'll see.
We'll shoot for it. Why not?
Yeah,
Gotta
yeah,
do an all in
we're
review.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially with
Yeah.
the see if they put on
Something's going down.
Cash Wheeler gotta put up the Glock. See if he gets punishment for being a trying to be a rude boy out there.
That's it.
Shooter. Well, no, let me not say a shooter. He just flashed it. He didn't pull it out the holster or anything. He just flashed it.
Cash wielder.
Yeah, wielder for real.
Cash wielder.
I'm just thinking of that the scene from Boys in the Hood with Ice
So
Cube
corny.
pulling up his shirt, just showing the
Yeah,
gun like, "What's up? What's up?" Like I just see Cash Wheeler's face on Ice Cube's body doing that. But yeah, that's it. It's the best of both worlds of wrestling podcast. Once again, I am Turk or Chris.
this is Khalil, man. Y'all be good.
Yes, sir. Peace.